How's it going, Rick?
It's going good, Megan. How about you?
I'm happy. I'm very happy. Somebody very important to me was on vacation for a while, and which is a perfect time to take a vacation during this market.
Of
And that
course.
person is back. So,
Good.
very
Yay.
happy about that. I don't want to tell any of this person's personal business, but let's just say that when this person goes on vacation, It's it's mentally challenging for me. I was afraid they wouldn't come back because they were having so much fun, but they came back.
Yeah, right. That's good.
So that's good.
Glad they're
All
glad
right.
they're back.
Oh, me too. My whole attitude's much better. Okay. Let's talk about something this week that has
Hmm.
to do with mortgage rates and inventory. And we talk about it all the time, and I don't mean to
Hmm.
bore our audience, but it's very interesting to watch what's going on here because it's unprecedented and we're all kind of just doing this for the first time. So to sit back and see how things are going is pretty interesting. So let's just recap real quick. In the last year and a half, rates have doubled. They went from three something to almost the low eights, really,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um, that's unprecedented, never has happened in the history of mortgages. So we all thought we were in a sinking ship, and it took a very quick time of adjustment, and people had to get requalified and that sort of thing.
Hmm.
But here's what's happening is that since there's so little homes for sale, and it has been this way since 2019, okay, or even before
Hmm.
then, but that the houses that are staged well, show well, they're priced well, and that doesn't mean they're overpriced. And I'm going to get into that in 1 second. That are accessible, that have a plan, and have clear and concise goals, those houses are still selling with multiple offers over the list price. Okay.
Hmm.
And the reason why that is, let's just recap. 2019, this time of year, and this is thanks to Stephen Thomas's reports on housing. This time of year in 2019, there were 6,306 houses up for sale. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, Last year there were 3,656. Uh-oh, whoa, what's happening? Right now there are only 2,408 houses up for sale. Okay.
Yikes.
So this is the problem is that there's nothing up for sale. What is going to edge people, push people out of their houses? I don't know. On to the next houses. There's only been 68 houses that have gone up for sale in the last 2 weeks in Orange County. Okay.
Mm.
Even with these staggering numbers, let's go back to what's selling and what's not selling. If the house is overpriced, if your pictures are junk, there's nothing emotional about it, your house still isn't going to sell, even with only 2,400 houses on the market. Okay. We just had one, and we'll name it all. We won't name anything. We won't name any names or addresses, but there was a house for sale and it looked super boring from the outside. My client went to the open house and the realtor was there, and all the blinds were closed. There were no
Ooh.
lights on. He felt like he was creeping through this house, and the realtor
Hmm.
was watching TV. Okay,
Oh,
watching
no.
TV. And guess what we got? We got that house at 30,000 under the appraised value. Okay. We were able to secure that house because nobody else was jumping on it because it didn't look great from the optics of the whole thing. If somebody's come to the open
Hmm.
house and all the windows are closed, the blinds are closed, the lights are off, the agent's on the couch watching TV. I almost
It's
died
like
when
something out of it's like a bad movie.
I know. Guess what
Right.
else that agent was? A very discounted agent. Okay. So
Oh
you
yeah, of
definitely
course.
are you're getting what you pay for, people. If that
Yeah.
house had an amazing story, beautiful photos, a 3D tour, a social media presence, and if it was priced at a different point, it would have sold for more than what we got it for. But
Mhm.
that's the story. You still, even though the market is what it is, and people are stretching to get into their houses. I mean, they are putting it all on the line, every penny that they have to get into these houses. They want to be excited about it. They
Mhm.
don't want to be, they don't want it to be an ugly, daunting project that they're paying $1 million for typically. Okay. So that's my piece of advice for today is that even though the rates are high, people are still buying, there's record low inventory, but even with all
True.
that, you still need to put your best foot forward to get your house sold. There's no skimping on
No
planning and
shortcuts.
activities. Yeah, we just took we have like two households worth of furniture. We just took one over to a house today, and we have a team staging over there. Why? I priced the house well. I know it's going to sell right away, but I take nothing for granted. I want the house to look amazing. I want people to be excited. I want to help them visualize the floor plan, the
Hmm.
flow.
Hmm.
I want them to see themselves there. I know who's going to buy it. I know what they're looking for, what kind of furniture they're going to have. I mean, you know what I mean? We
Yeah,
still have to put all this effort in.
makes sense.
It's
I mean,
just,
and when buyers are spending that much money, they want to feel an attachment to the house of some sort, right? I mean, $1 million,
mm-hmm,
that's what the market is for the most part, close to it.
mm-hmm.
They want some sort of emotional attachment to the house to justify that much money.
I mean, can you imagine walking into a model house and it's not staged? And by the way, new home builders
Hmm.
typically have houses available that you can go see if you ask that are not staged and have the standard upgrades instead of the
Hmm.
super sexy upgrades. And
Hmm.
they're not showing you those houses. You have to ask because they want you to walk in and feel emotional about their product. So, duh,
Well, as
you
I think, as we know, that most home builders, depending upon the price range, are spending an average of about a $500,000 in upgrades on those homes to show them.
yeah,
Landscaping and interior upgrades, about a $500,000 on average or more. I've seen some upwards of over $1 million.
that's bananas.
That's what the models look like.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about some other you're just blowing my mind right now. That must be like in Coda de Casa or something, right?
I mean, houses, I mean, newer houses are about 1.5 million roughly in some
Yeah,
neighborhoods. They've
yeah.
got $300,000-$400,000 in upgrades in that price. But that's
No,
the base price. The actual house is much more than that if you want those upgrades that
right.
as they show it. But
My
yeah,
heart's
no, but that's the
palpitating thinking
emotional
about
appeal,
some of that.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's why the new homes are selling, even though they're really high price. And of course, the
Mm-hmm.
house they're going to buy is not equipped or really really equipped that way, but they're willing to spend the extra money to get it there.
Mm-hmm.
It goes
Mm-hmm.
back to that emotional attachment, right?
Yep. Let's ping pong for a second because you
Hmm.
told me some really good news when we got on the phone today.
Hmm.
What can you share with our audience about FHA and ADUs?
Yeah, great news. Finally, finally, finally. FHA will now they will accept rental income as for the ADU as qualifying income for the buyer for the property.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is that the buyer's buying a house, it's got a qualified ADU on the back of the property. Whatever that market rental income is for that ADU can be used to offset the payment for qualifying purposes for that buyer. Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Gosh, it's really taken everybody a really long time to get caught up on all this ADU stuff. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, even for an appraisal, I mean, for example, if you're at a
Hmm.
house that appraises at $700 a square foot, they don't apply that same value to an ADU. I mean, it's always something with the ADU. But to hear that
Hmm.
you can include the income
Hmm.
for, and I wonder what the guidelines are going to be on that. Like, does it already have to be occupied, or what do they need to
No,
collect? Oh, hmm,
no, no. They will treat it like an investment property in terms of that appraisal. So they can do a rental survey. The thing of that is, and that's a great question, by the way. when we order the appraisal, the appraiser has to mark that as an ADU appraisal, so they can give value to that rental income.
I like it. That's
So
definitely
there's
going
not
to
a
be helpful.
requirement for the property to be currently rented. It's not a requirement.
Yeah, because that
Great
always
question.
causes a pickle, you
Yeah,
know,
just a little
especially if you're
bit.
going to put some family members in there
Mhm,
after you close escrow. So, well, that's great
for
news,
sure.
Rick. So the word on the street
Yeah.
is you can get your house with an ADU already built, and you'll be able to qualify because you can use a rental income, and rent is bananas. I mean,
Oh,
we
yeah.
have we have rentals because I've been a realtor for 25 years. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna
Mhm.
buy as much as we can here. And I mean, our one bedrooms rent, and it's probably under market for like 2,100 a month. So that would be very helpful to get something with an ADU.
Yeah, it's huge. It's
Good to
huge.
know. All right,
Yeah,
Rick,
good
you're
stuff.
amazing. I appreciate you. I thank you
Appreciate
for your
you.
expertise. That's great news, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. See ya.
Yeah.